Good morning, everybody. Happy Easter. It's me, Teri Hunter. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today is Sunday, April 17th, 2022, and I'm here with this week's Traversing the Transits with Teri Hunter and the Angels readings for the week. So before I start, I want to talk about a couple of little pieces of business. For those of you that are new to my channel, I am a whole sign Western astrologer. So all of these videos are going to be based on whole sign Western astrology. I consider myself an intuitive astrologer. And because of that, I really focus highly on the moon. The moon represents our emotional body. It represents our intuitive body. It represents our ability to nurture ourselves. And so to me, this is the platform for manifestation. So I would look at your moon and your rising on a par on some level. Your rising sign is going to represent your perspective, your perceptions, how you initially see a situation, kind of a half full, half empty glass situation. And then your sun sign. If you have 3 or more personal planets, that would be Mars, Jupiter, Venus, Saturn, Mercury. I'm forgetting somebody. Did I say Jupiter? In one sign or house, that's a stellium. Pay attention to that. If it's Uranus, Neptune, or Pluto, those are generational planets, so they're a little bit more broad in how they influence a situation or your natal chart. Okay, and finally, I wanted to announce that I'm doing my first webinar on the eclipse, the solar eclipse, on Saturday, April 30th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Pacific time. This is the first in a series of webinars that are going to focus in on your soul's intention for this lifetime. So what we're going to do is we're going to start off looking at this, the nodes through the signs, how the signs process and feel, with the south node representing habitual feelings, the soul's emotional body that it takes from lifetime to lifetime, and the north node representing what we're stretching to achieve in balance. So we're going to do that. And then we're also going to pepper in the degrees. And we'll be peppering in the degrees with each seminar. The second one will be focused on the houses. So we're going to start to put the puzzle pieces together. We're going to look at the sign. Then we're going to look at the degrees. Then we're going to look at the ruler of the south node. Where is that? Then we're going to look at the houses. Then we're going to pull Chiron into the situation, because Chiron represents the wound that we bring into this incarnation and what our soul is intended to balance or work out within this experience. So right now it looks like it's going to be a 5-part series. If you sign up before the 24th of April, it will be $19.99. If you sign up between the 24th and the 29th, it will be $29.99. You can't sign up the day of because I don't know how to do that, and I can't be multitasking in all those ways on the day of. But I'm super excited about how this is going to play out. I've been working on a presentation for y'all, so I hope you'll take advantage of that. If for some reason you cannot be there live, you can purchase the link afterwards, and again, that'll be $29.99. So now let's go into our readings and talk about the transits this week. There are some real interesting transits right now. We have Mercury and Uranus about a degree apart from each other in Taurus. Let me take a quick check. We've got Mercury at 12 degrees and we've got Uranus at 13 degrees. This to me is so much about communications. It's about, because Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So here we are in Taurus, and this is an opportunity to really look deeply into how we are expressing ourselves if we are reacting in an explosive manner. And I think this is super pivotal because we have Pluto stationing this week to go retrograde on the 29th until October. I believe it's October 8th. And this is going to be the final retrograde in Capricorn. This speaks so highly of sort of this real last ditch effort for your ego and your soul to align to a bigger purpose for what you want to experience in this lifetime. And in doing so, representing the possibilities that are available to the human that we have not been able to take advantage of up until now, because historically there have been polarizing dynamics between material success and material challenge. So I think that this next few months feels like a culmination of the last few years. You know, we've been seeing Pluto transiting back and forth at the last degrees of Capricorn. And I really feel like there's also Pluto. Sorry, my brain just kicked in again. Pluto's making a very favorable aspect to Jupiter and, in some respects, Neptune a little bit, but I think there's a sextile going to be happening during this week. So this has really been an opportunity to revisit our beliefs. Do those beliefs align with what I want to experience? Am I repeating a story and telling a story that doesn't really serve me in the way that I'm almost daring the universe to prove me wrong, but it's not actually serving me because the focus on the challenge is superseding the potential for the solution to appear? So I think this is really important. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Just call me C. Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, Welsh. Good morning, CJD. Good morning, Juan. Happy Easter, everybody. Good morning, small wildflowers. Hope everybody's enjoying this this Easter holiday. You know, I don't have any real family, so I forget it's the holidays. And yesterday, I recorded a video for the solar eclipse. I'm going to publish that this week. And afterward, I put on the History Channel and they were doing the Bible. And I'm not going to talk about religion, but I do want to talk quickly about the story of Daniel and Daniel being thrown into the lion's den. I don't know if you guys remember that biblical story, but Daniel is thrown into the lion's den with the expectation that he will be eaten and that he will be killed. And Daniel goes in so surrendering. He too believes he's going to die. So he literally just like lays down there, not on the ground. I don't know what his position was, but his energy is what will be, will be. And in doing so, the vibration that he sent to the animals was one of, there was no fear attached. And when they opened that cave or whatever, that dungeon to claim his dead body, he walks out. And I couldn't help but think, oh my gosh, that's the ultimate story of no resistance. Inadvertently, we often endeavor something, and without realizing it, we have resistance to the outcome we actually want to achieve. Because what we do is we look at the situation based on where we've been. And because of where we've been, that's how we determine whether that is feasible or not. And I think this is part of the whole restructuring, the whole looking at the planets from a new point of view. I was looking at Pluto. I've got some other things going on with Pluto that I'll let you know about if it actually happens. I'll announce it. But Pluto, you know, has that heart on it. And I was thinking about how many of the planets we only see from one perspective, being here on Earth. Each side has like a light side and a dark side, a side that is shown to us, and then a side that we have to intuit. And I think this is all part of this restructuring, part of this rewriting of what do we believe. And what we believe is what we take our actions on. And I recently posted, I don't know if you guys are responding to the Brave Heart meditation series that I've created, but this is something I'm going to publish about once a month. And this particular meditation is based on your beliefs, which I think is so timely, because there are the beliefs that we inherit. We come into this experience in certain dynamics and we get used to things, and those become our platform. And until we've experienced something different, we really can't assess whether that belief works for us. So I feel like this week, really looking at, what do I believe? Did I choose it? Did I inherit it? And does it work and serve my greater happiness? Pluto. and Jupiter making a sextile. Uranus and Mercury together, giving an opportunity to revolutionize and liberate yourself from old thoughts. And I want to offer it this way. When I say old thoughts, it doesn't mean the thoughts are going to disappear. It doesn't mean they're going to evaporate into the ethernet. It means when they pop up, you're going to process them just ever so slightly differently. And as you start to process them differently, you set in a new point of attraction, and that starts to rewrite the experience. And each time you step into that unknown solution, and yet the lack of resistance to the solution, I don't know how it's going to play out, but I'm going to trust that Spirit is bringing me everything I need in order to thrive in this experience. Okay, let's go on to our readings. And before I do, just call me C. I'm so sorry to hear you're not feeling well. Pneumonia, that's really scary. So I hope that you're taking care of yourself. We'll be sending you lots of good vibes for a quick and speedy balancing of your body. I'm going to tell you a really quick, crazy story. I don't know if I've told you this story before, but it's really powerful. A few years ago, I went to Savannah, and we went on one of those touristy little tours. And they were talking about, I believe it was yellow fever. It might have been typhoid. I'm not quite sure, but it was happening. There was a pandemic of it, whatever they call it back then, for lack of a better term. And people were dying of this rapido. The gravediggers were burying people by the tens every single day. The doctors would look at these people and they would appear to die. They'd bury them. And what had happened was the people had gone into a coma. So their breathing had, slowed down. And for all these appearances, the body had died. So what happens? 2 weeks, 3 weeks later, these people wake up in their coffins and they're freaking out because they are not dead. And so this gravedigger ends up figuring out how to tie a rope to the toe and then string it up through the dirt and attach it to a bell, hence the saying, saved by the bell. So when these people woke up, they could just shake their foot and they could be dug out. But my point of the story, and the reason I say this for CJD, it's not about not taking care of yourself, but the body inherently knows how to come back into balance. The body inherently knows how to fight off dis-ease within it. So sometimes, and this was represented when the body was left alone, there was no food, there was no interventions, there was no, I can't think of the third word I wanted to say. And the body came back into balance and recovered. So there's trust. I think part of what we're rewriting right now is also the trust of our bodies, the trust of our own power to manifest, power to thrive, power to live a fulfilling life in a vessel that serves that. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with our Pisces as usual. And isn't this wonderful? Because we still have until the 23rd, Neptune and Jupiter going through Pisces, and we have Venus hanging out in there. This is transformational times if we watch where our focus is, because there's abundance attached to Venus, there's abundance attached to Jupiter, and Neptune has an opportunity to really kind of wash away any illusions of disempowerment. All right. Here we go. Oh, wow. This is so cool, Pisces. Your tarot card is the Star. Now, the Star represents Aquarius. It represents astrology. It also represents faith. It represents a vulnerability. It represents balance in some ways. And if you look, this character has her focus nurturing here, this pond. And at the same time, she's able to still nurture something that's on the back burner. I feel like this is an opportunity for Pisces to really look at how much faith you have in your ability to nurture what is not seen. Pisces by nature rules the 12th house. The 12th house is a house that has been been categorized as not being able to see the self. It's what is behind us. But the 12th house of Pisces is also a house of ancestors, of past lives, of it's where we have the potential to connect with the oversoul, the Akashic records, so that we can rewrite and not perpetrate old energies that don't serve us. So I think it's really important, and Spirit is saying for Pisces to have faith. And I want to offer it this way too, because Pisces is so mutable. And naturally, there's two fish, the sign, I can't help but think the 12th house, there's again a group, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. The 12 reduces down to a 3. So really connecting in a vulnerable way, maybe even contemplating the story of Daniel. Where is my resistance? Where is my fear blocking Spirit's ability to manifest for me, to bring things to light? Because as we step closer and closer to this eclipse season and the beginning of these fated events, it feels very powerful that these events are actually here to uplift. And it's our job to focus and align to that upliftment. So Pisces, where is Spirit wanting you to have faith? Where is Spirit wanting you to be vulnerable to your own? I want to offer this too, being a star in your own network. The 11th house of Pisces we're on Pisces. I was thinking Aquarius. Pisces, the star can represent Aquarius, which is the 11th house, which is networks. Sorry, I should stop moving the card. So I also want to offer that you have an ability to be authentic, and in doing so, that vulnerability opens you up within your networks. Well, I'm not surprised, Welsh. There's a lot of Mercury should be moving into, you are talking natally. Okay, I get it. Sorry. All right, let's see, Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. And again, I put a lot of emphasis on that moon idea. The first angel is Indriel, the light worker. The second is Isabella. The third is Azure. And the final is Daniel. Okay. This is interesting because I was talking earlier about how Pisces is really about commingling of some ways, that with the 2 fish, you're a mutable sign. We're talking Indriel, the light worker. I look at that and I'm thinking there's a 12th house dynamic. She's having an epiphany. I feel like this epiphany has something to do with your history and relationships. Let's look and see. Indriel is being joined by the trust card. Isabella's being joined by the letting go card. Azure's being joined by the hawk. And Daniel's being joined by the horse. I want to offer to my Pisces, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. I don't know right now if Spirit is saying, trust me, to have an epiphany, as much as they're asking, how much do you trust Spirit? How much do you trust the elements of the 12th house that sits in your first house of self? Can you, on some level, be in 2 realms, be in the spiritual realm and the physical realm at the same time? And I say that because the trust comes from your soul's contract. I say that because here's the letting go card, moving away from fear, and Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this. So one of the challenges with, I think, both the 12th house and the 8th house is these dynamics that we bring into this current earthly experience that come from the soul's habit of choice. So if you've come in as a Pisces rising or moon, sun, and stelliums, there is a part of you that has chosen the Virgo Pisces access of bringing spirituality into a practical way. So you don't swim off into the ether net, and Virgo doesn't sit too pushed into the ground, too earthbound. So the angels are saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture. And then we have the hawk, and here we have the 11, We have the 47 reducing down to an 11. So this goes back to what do you believe about yourself? Because Azure is saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. And I want to offer it this way because when I look at Daniel and I see the horse, I can't help but feel like this has a Sagittarius influence. Again, Jupiter, ancient ruler, making aspects, favorable aspects to Pluto, offering transformation as you really examine your history and relationships. Because, again, I go back to the star. I feel as if there is the potential that you have endeavored relationships, and I want to talk about all sorts of relationships, friendships, lovers, work situations that were out of balance because you were giving up your power, or you felt like connecting with that other energy would be safe for you or make you feel secure. I think this is time to really re-examine those dynamics, because the trust comes, how much do you trust your own spiritual path? Because now is a time to have fear actually serve you and empower you, because as you rise above a situation and you pull the higher aspects of this Pluto dynamic. Lately, I've been saying that Pluto doesn't want to kill you. It wants to destroy the lies you tell yourself. Those lies are, I have no power. Those lies are, I'm a victim. Those lies are, I'm not lovable. Those lies are, I'll always be impoverished. Because now is a time to really start to connect with your story in a way that serves your spiritual growth. Meaning, if I hadn't experienced this, it wouldn't have propelled me to move over here, or to move in this direction. All right, let's go on to our Aquariuses. Rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. And when you're looking at the transits, and you see them, look and see if they're hitting any of the planets. So if you are an Aquarius and you happen to notice that in your first house of Aquarius, you also have, let's say, Mars, and Mars is making an aspect, or your sun is making an aspect, look at that and see if there isn't that pinball wizard thing. Okay, so the transit hits a natal point, which hits the aspects and sends a ripple. I don't think it's flat. Hope that makes sense. All right, Aquarius, what is your tarot card? Temperance, balance. This is a very interesting card as well, because we see this in both Pisces and in Aquarius. There's this exchange of water, emotion. Pisces, the emotion is behind me, and here Aquarius is looking straight up at it. And it's interesting to me because there is a toe dipped into this, and then there is a foot holding onto the shore. So I want to offer this way. Aquarius is not always known as the most emotional sign. You rule science, you rule scientific research, space. So you're willing to look at like the evidence. And here, if you look at this character, which I believe is Archangel Gabriel, the eyes are closed. The third eye is illuminated. There is an opportunity to be able to go where no man has gone before with more balance, as a part of you trusts that inner knowing. I think when I think of the signs that are pioneers, Aquarius, Aries, and in some ways Sagittarius, there is a willingness within yourself to know that whatever you experience in the unknown, somehow you can handle it. So I think that there's this balance right now between sort of the earthly material type energies and this emotional dynamic, and willing to go through this experience more from an emotional, intuitive, self-nurturing place than I am looking to the material for the answers. I hope that makes sense. Here we go. Let's see what the angels have to say. Oop. Thank you all for being here on a holiday. I don't know if it's Easter for everybody around the world. I'm kind of not very well versed in those things. Okay, Aquarius, our first angel is Oceana. The second is Adriana. The third is Indriel. And the final is Rochelle. I like that. Here we go. Thank you, CJD. Thank you for being here. Okay. Oceana is being joined by the Focus card. Adriana is being joined by the Intuitive High Priestess. Indriel is being joined by the Joy card. And Rochelle is being joined by the Goblin. Okay, this makes a lot of sense to me because I really think that we are sitting with this Pluto about to go retrograde. I think it's technically stationing. It's a slow moving planet. So it's hovering in this 28, 27, 26 degree range. 28 degrees is the Cancer. How do I nurture myself? It also reduces down to a 1, which is my thought. 27 is the Gemini degree. It also reduces down to a 9, which is the culmination of a cycle. So that culmination is the monkey mind Gemini thought, the lower energy. And then we have the 26th degree where we reduces down to an 8, where when we put all these things together, we have an opportunity to create more abundance for ourselves. So let's look at this. Oceana is backing up the Temperance card in the focus on your emotional body, on your intuitive body, on the soul's body. The soul's intention lies within your emotional body. And if you're able to decipher between the experiences that your personality has accumulated over this lifetime, and instead of looking at yourself as being sort of pulled under by those experiences, see how those experiences are giving you opportunities for choice. Because I think deep down inside, each time Aquarius is going to have to choose their heart, and they're going to feel like they're not with the pack, because by nature, Aquarius feels slightly alien. It rules aliens. So I want to offer this. Adriana says she's leading you to the answers to your prayers. And this is a bigger connection to your oversoul, to the intuitive body, to the part of you that is an energetic being that knows that the physical experience is simply a temporary dynamic to serve the soul's experiential evolution. So now the angels are saying, be joyous in your epiphanies. Be joyous in your willingness to now see where your focus has served you. Because the big dynamic for our Aquarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums is, where am I edging God out by not following my heart? And my heart right now may make me feel a little different than everybody else. And I feel like this is part of the whole breaking down of the old structures. I think each human on some level that is stretching for conscious co-creation is realizing that they're breaking an old cycle. And there's a part of them that's going to assess whether or not they will still be accepted, loved, and valued within their own communities. And so there's a little bit of bravery, because I think in all the quiet of that contemplation, that people, if they spoke of it, would find commonality, and therefore the numbers would grow and your confidence would grow. So that's where I'm going with that. All right, let's go on to our Capricorns, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Hey, Shelley, welcome to the room. Oh, by the way, everybody, Stephen got a new job and he's training. I reached out to him after last Sunday, and he's going to be in training on Sundays for, I guess, till June. So we probably won't see much of him. Hopefully he'll pop in afterwards, but we'll see. Okay. Here we go, Capricorn. What is your tarot card? The Empress. This is 3 major arcana cards in a row. This is kind of beautiful. And I don't want to say kind of. I mean, it's super beautiful. So look at this, Capricorn. Pluto's about to go retrograde in your first house. And here we have Venus's symbol sitting on the heart. The Empress is known for abundance. There is no lack of luxury here with her. So I feel like, Capricorn, this is very much thinking of yourself as, I want to offer it this way, because I really feel as if the energy of Saturn has evolved. And while Saturn is always going to have a bit of a more stoic energy, Saturn is really becoming more empathetic in the idea that I want you to be happy, and I'm going to hold your feet to the fire to stay on track for your own happiness. And if you deviate from that, or if fear takes over, because Saturn rules fear and depression, I'm going to poke you a little bit. And I'm not doing it to hurt you. I'm doing it to move you into a more authentic place. And this is where Capricorn, you get to actually see the manifestation. Capricorn is one of the houses because it rules the 10th house. It wants to see its concepts, its efforts in the material world. I want people to see what I have created. So this is really an opportunity. And again, I want to emphasize the Jupiter sextile with Pluto as we start to see Pluto move away from Neptune and Pluto go retrograde. There is this idea that this can create immense wealth. I really believe that. Again, Jupiter expands, my surrender to the transformation. Pluto rules billionaires. Love it. All right, Capricorn, let's see what the angels have to say. I want to offer this too. Somebody had commented last week about Pluto transits really, working them over. And I agree. They're not easy. They're really challenging. Let me take a sip. I want to offer this because I feel as if I just lost my train of thought completely. So I took a sip. I saw the cat comment and my brain went zap. Oh, okay. Here, I got it back. As Jupiter and Pluto make this sextile, this is an opportunity for Capricorn to take the more stoic energies and apply them with a new vibration, with a more joyous vibration. And that can actually expedite the work into a place that you find more self-worth as well. Because, Venus rules self-worth. And we have Venus creeping towards Jupiter. So, and I talk about in my solar eclipse video, by the time that happens, Venus and Jupiter will be together making an aspect. So this is very exciting. But we have to be willing to be like Daniel and go into the lion's den with no resistance. And in doing so, we come out having fear empowered us versus pulling us under. All right, Capricorn, our first angel is Daniel, the angel of marriage. There is Azure, your desired outcome will come in the near future. Celeste talks about a new home and place of employment. And Grace and Antoinette talks about compassion. What does that mean? He lost his fang. Does this mean he lost a tooth? Is that, did he crack it or did the vet remove it? Lucky's had quite a few teeth removed. He still plugs through his treats. Okay, Capricorn. Daniel, the angel of your historic partnership history, is being joined by the communications card. Azure is being joined by the eagle. Celeste is being joined by the focus card. And Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the spider. I can go two ways with this. I can go with the idea that Daniel does represent marriage and partnership and that Capricorn would like to experience partnership. We just had the Libra full moon in partnership, in the sign of partnership. And that's not just marriage, it's contracts. And this with Celeste in here makes me feel a little bit like this might be more about your work life, because Daniel is your history in contractual relationships. There's the communications card, which could be a Gemini energy, very much your everyday life and wanting to be in a situation where your efforts and your hard work are appreciated openly and in the 3D world, because here's the connection to the angelic realm, but the eagle also represents integrity. And I feel as if Capricorn has been working hard to stand in balance as Pluto's been transiting its house. And here's Azure saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. And then we have Celeste, a new home or a new place of employment. And there's the focus card. And this makes me feel like Capricorn wants to actually feel more bounty within their professional life, within their entrepreneurship, within their leadership. And this is now a time to truly focus on what is the potential as Capricorn continues during this Pluto cycle to work the network, to work their relationships, to rewrite their relationships, to come through to others in a way that is more compassionate rather than, sometimes Saturn ruling Capricorn could be like, let's just get it done. I really don't care if you're tired. I don't care if you need a donut. I don't care if you need a rest. Let's get it done. And now this is about softening those edges. It's about learning to be an inspired leader versus being more of a taskmaster or drill sergeant. And I feel like you've been working on that super hard. Last night, again, here I am watching my dumb shows, and I saw baby goats, and they're mischievous and fun and happy and tenacious. And I feel like that is where my Capricorns are transforming to. So be compassionate with yourself as your history may come up and offer you choices and opportunities. Don't look at it as a rug being pulled out from underneath you. And ask yourself on some level, if you get triggered into an old pattern that actually disempowers you or makes you feel a little depressed, I think it's important to ask yourself, is this current? Or am I bringing something from yesteryear into today and then basing my actions and my beliefs on that? Because it's about, we really have to start to give life to the new story. If we never give life to the new story, we're going to end up kicking in the laws of attraction for the old story over and over and over again. Okay. On to our Sagittariuses. Welcome, Comic Jerry. Are you new to our group? I don't think I've seen your name before. Welcome, welcome. Cosmic. I thought he was a funny guy. Okay. Cosmic Jerry. Oh, he just lost his tooth, like it fell out of his mouth. I think they can be okay without their teeth. I don't think that'll be too much as long as the root isn't cracked. Okay, here. Oh, Sagittarius, your tarot card is the 9 of Cups. And this is a card of self-satisfaction. It's something that you have produced, something that you have been working on is about to happen. So let's look and see what that is. And it's interesting too, because the 9 of Cups, the 9 itself feels a little like it's in that Sagittarius mutable realm. And this is the mutable energy of Pisces. So this is about really feeling that sense of satisfaction. And sometimes when the human endeavors something, they take in a moment. Oh, I'm so proud of myself. And then boom, it's on to the next thing that I need to conquer. And this might be an opportunity to sit just a little bit and celebrate something that you have worked hard on achieving. Okay. Our first angel is Grace and Antoinette for Sagittarius, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Adriana is leading you to the answers to your prayers. Ariel is giving you new spiritual experiences to open up your gifts. And then Serena is about money and serenity. And when I say that, I mean the serenity of not micromanaging God and the angels and source energy. One of the greatest things that I think I've been gifted over the years of doing this work is learning how to say, I don't know how it happens. I don't know the exact formula. I just know that when I focus in on the outcome tends to show up the way I want it to. And then I can identify other genres of my life where my belief is wobbly, and that's why my results don't show up. Okay, here we go. Grace and Antoinette is being joined by the Lady of the Lake, Sagittarius. Adriana is being joined by the cat. Ariel is being joined by the Reconciliation Forgiveness card. And Serena is being joined by the Rebirth card. This feels like it's more emotional than it does feel material. Here we have the Lady of the Lake, who is literally fighting between her head and her emotional body in this storm. And at the same time, she's holding Excalibur with the most delicate of a touch. She's not afraid that this storm is going to blow the truth out of her hands. And what I think she is offering to Sagittarius is the power of compassion. And I want to offer it this way, because oftentimes when we're asked to look at someone look at a situation from someone else's point of view, it feels like a little bit of a bitter pill, because it almost feels like we have to overlook our own challenges or hurts in a situation. And I feel as if this is an opportunity to see the layers that compassion offers, that demonstrate love in bigger ways than just, oh, I love you. Because here we have the cat and we have Adriana. And while the cat can represent healthy boundaries, I think this is a new life. Adriana is leading you to a new life, a new chapter that is more focused on your self-satisfaction as you individualize from beliefs that you may have inherited and did not choose, that don't support where you want to go. And as you have the courage to stand in your truth, self-compassion allows you to have compassion for others. Because here we have Ariel offering a reconciliation as you individualize in a way that is not fighting or running away from the situation. Serena, for me, offers abundance through this rebirth. Now I want to go back to the Pluto idea, and Pluto is making a sextile during this next, I want to say it's these first few like week and a half. I didn't actually look the actual dates, but as Jupiter and Pluto make this sextile, it is the transformation of my beliefs that offer me wealth, abundance, and expansion. And this is your ruling planet. So there's a part of you that will declare in a responsible way your truth. It may be only to yourself. And as you have compassion for Pluto pulling the lies out, and you surrendering to and feeling serene about the idea that if I allow this to appear to go away, it may not go away, but rather offer untold bounty through some sort of honest admission to thyself. That's the way I want to put it. Okay, let's go on to our Scorpios, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. CJD, I love movies from the 50s too. I was watching Yours, Mine, and Ours a few weeks ago, and they showed the wedding invitation, and it had my dad's birthday on it. And then I was watching something else. Oh, The Ghost and Mrs. Muir. That's way back from the 40s. I love watching old movies. Okay. I'm very nostalgic lately. I think my progressed moon is in Cancer. Very, very nostalgic. And it's funny because as I'm nostalgic, there's a part of me that goes, well, that was really a shit show often. My childhood was a shit show. But I can, in my nostalgia, pull out these threads of memories that really make me feel so like a TV show, like a Ozzie and Harriet. I don't know why. All right, Scorpio, here we go. We've had a lot of major arcana cards come up because I think this is a very powerful time. So here we go, Scorpio. This is the Hermit. The Hermit offers reflection. The Hermit references Father Time, and how, on some level, if we look at the idea that Pluto, your ruling planet, is making such a strong dynamic through the house of structure, through the house of governmental structure, through the house of what is expected, not what is chosen. That's the way I want to say it. And I think that there's an opportunity for illumination. And I want to offer it this way because, we talk about the Scorpio stinger. And sometimes the idea of that stinger, it feels like it masks or it clouds the depth of Scorpio. Because Scorpio isn't stinging just to sting. I believe Scorpio really stings because it is tired of the truth that is not being revealed. The lies that we build our house of cards on, that we call our lives. And that's why I think Scorpio gets such a bad rap for this like criminal behavior. And I'm not going to take away the lower energies of, the mundane actual criminal behavior, but is it not criminal to deny our happiness? Isn't it not criminal to give our power away to somebody else to the point where we are diminished? Stephen, you made it. Fabulous. We've missed you. Okay, let's go on to our readings for Scorpio. Welcome, Michelle. Good to see you. I'm not sure if I said hi to everybody. All right, Scorpio, our first angel is Patience. The second is Layla. The third is Bridget. And the final is Adriana. Patience is being joined by the frog. Layla's being joined by the serpent. Bridget's being joined by the fire fairy. And Adriana's being joined by Merlin. I want to offer this because those of you that are Scorpio and Plutonian dominant ruled, I look at my natal chart and Pluto does not appear to be dominant in my chart. But as I look at the transits and the fact that Pluto transit throughout my whole life, hitting almost all my planets, it is a very powerful energy within my life experience. Because Scorpio, I think this is a major cleanup for you. I think your ruling planet is going in and kind of in some ways demoing where you have given your power away and asking you to stand in your own leaping from one lily pad to another, allowing yourself the permissions to observe how you have cooperated in some ways with your disempowerment and now to claim it back. Because the frog represents the cleaning of the house, which is the mind, and releasing of emotional baggage, but you don't really release it. You synthesize it into a powerful tool. And you do that by connecting with God and the angels and allowing yourself to shed this skin, allowing yourself to take the essence of the Plutonian energy, which is to come from the depths of my heart. And in some ways, it has to be a bit of a cold heart, because if I go out to others and I look for their approval, the eighth house, Scorpio very much rules the interactions with others, just in a different way than Libra does. And if I go out and I look for their approval, I'm not necessarily serving myself, because I have to go into the depths of my own inspirations, my own creative thought, my own fire, because we are being, Scorpio, led into more balance. And I think that balance actually comes from this idea of reflecting on your own power. Scorpio is a psychologist. Scorpio sees those things that people think they're masking. And that can be a weapon. You can use that and you can really hurt someone, or you can use it for compassion and to inspire. And I feel like this is where the Scorpio energy is transformational. I feel like this is where your ruling planet Jupiter in its sextile, your ruling planet Pluto in a sextile to Jupiter is going to really illuminate an opportunity for you to use your beliefs in a powerful way that not only serves others, but allows you to shed a skin and live a more authentic, happier existence for yourself. That's where I'm going. Okay, on to Libra. I did it. I sang. I watched these two women on TikTok. The caption was, "This is what these two women do when they're drunk." And they were singing, doing karaoke. They sounded so good. I'm like, I want a drunk singing friend. Okay, here we go. Libra, we have the Two of Pentacles. This is a Capricorn energy. This is a cardinal energy of the material. This is about balance, and it's also about a bit of travel, okay? And how everything goes around, comes around in some ways. When I was younger, I got to tell you, my Aries would blast people thinking they would go away and just be like, bye-bye, see ya. And they would come back over and over and over again. And recently, I got to revisit a part of me in that vibration where somebody made me angry. They hurt my feelings. And I wanted to snark out at them. I wanted to send one of those kind of sarcastic texts. And I didn't do it. I had the wherewithal as a Libra to decide, do I want to be diplomatic? Do I want to be the harbor of of peace, of harmony, or do I want to be a disruptive force? So I just didn't even bother to say a word. And that person disappeared for months. Then they came back around, that ghosting thing that people do nowadays. And then they're like, oh, did I ghost you? Oh, did I not call you? Did I not do that? So I got to find the Libra part of me. My North Node is in Libra. So part of what I'm stretching for in this lifetime is to be authentic to my Aries South Node while I stretch to be diplomatic and create harmony and peace within community, within my partnerships, within my relationships. So I was kind of excited about seeing that. All right. So there's about flexibility for Libra here. There's a little bit, this has to do with money as well. So if your money's felt a little bit of tight, I want you to know what goes around comes around. It'll come back. And part of your job is to try to find your equilibrium through the process. Let's see if that is indeed the focus. We're going to miss you, Stephen. We'll be sending you good vibes. I hope you're enjoying the training and this new experience. It sounds like it's right up your Jupiterian alley. Okay, Libra. Our first angel is Isaiah. The second is Ray. The third is Teresa. And the final is Archangel Gabriel. Oh, yeah, that juggling act. I got to tell you, I'm dropping more of those juggling balls on my feet than I am keeping those balls in the air. But I want to offer this because this last week or so, I've been working on more content for the channel here and creating the webinar and needing time to create the tools for this new jump, this new platform, this evolution. And there's a part of me that's been a little bit nervous because as I focus on one area, and focus on the YouTube channel, the personal and everyday readings have gotten quiet. And of course, I didn't realize it was Easter week too. So that came into play. And I had to keep asking myself if I was no longer valuable or am I valuable? And what ended up happening was me being able to see that as I focus on one thing, I tend to kind of, I don't want to say diminish, but slow down something else in order to make space for over here. So now I go back to this Two of Pentacles and understanding that I'm learning the balance between sweat equity and actual equity. So as I do that, I'm offering the universe to teach me more about my abundance, because Isaiah is being joined by the love card Libra. Ray is being joined by the power and strength. Teresa is being joined by the hawk. And Archangel Gabriel is being joined by the focus card. So I want to offer this because Isaiah talks about new beginnings, about being open to change, that you're being protected and guided, and that new ideas are coming to you. This is about what you love, Libra. This is not about love of another person right now, but rather the transformation of your own. Here we have it again, a partnership sign, a sign that's cooperative. In its most challenging vibration, Libra can be a little bit resentful and passive aggressive because it's like, I'm doing for you. When are you going to do for me? But we don't say that out loud because we don't want to confront and have a problem. So now I think this is an opportunity for Libra to give birth to new ideas that they love, because I think that you're being inspired to feel calm, cool, and collected about asserting yourself out in the world. And now it's no time to worry, but more or less, because this is a worry card, pay attention to the bigger picture, to rise above whatever the minutia is right now and to see a bigger picture, because Archangel Gabriel very much rules the third house for me, rules everyday activities, speaking, teaching, writing. And here we have the focus card. So it's time for Libra to give birth to new ideas. And it doesn't mean that you have to necessarily jump up and implement something you're not ready to do, but to allow yourself the balance of going back and forth between, is it feasible? Isn't it feasible? And then taking guided action and baby steps towards it so that you can align your focus to what it is you really, really want to birth out in the world. The more we move into a technological age, the more a platform like this, TikTok, Instagram, and whatever else they're inventing right now that we can't see is going to become the norm and how we make our resources. And personal expression is going to become more influential and more. We're going to break away from these group dynamics where we all think the same thing because we've been taught that. We're going to look at something and then we're going to assess it. So here I feel like Libra, another kind of little, you could be a little insecure, am I palatable? Am I will people like me? That's what this could be. Rise above what you think as far as, well, people will like you, and trust your calm, cool, collected connection to spirit. That was one of my biggest things when I first started coming onto YouTube. Was I thought I was old and decrepit and nobody would want to listen to me or look at me, and that was not true. There are people of all ages thriving on YouTube and other platforms, expressing their own individuality. And I think that's important for Libra to start to give life to that. And we're talking about an eclipse season coming up, and we just had a full moon in your sign. So this is a very powerful time, because by the time your birthday comes, manifestations will start to reveal themselves. And the efforts and the time and energy you put in now with what you love, it can completely transform your life. So there you go. All right, everybody, we're going on to our Virgos, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Don't be afraid to hit that like button. We likey the likies. Okay, here we go. There's a lot of lies we tell ourselves, but we don't do it on purpose. We're kind of trained, One of the lies we tell ourselves is it's more important for other people to approve of us than it is for us to approve of ourselves. And that comes in the form of good boy, good girl, good boy, good girl. You did what I want you to do. Okay, Virgo, here is our 3 of Wands. This is a card of personal power. I look at it as a card where I'm actually looking out and surveying my own land, looking at what I want for myself. And in some ways, I'm willing to go on an adventure to find it. I think those ships in the water, and the water being yellow, everybody knows yellow water isn't really what happens, but there it is, the sea of my own power. Those 3 little ships to me sort of feel like the Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. And my job is to stay aligned on an emotional level with the power that comes through my connection to the divine. And there's the fruit. I shouldn't say the fruit, the beginnings of the sprouts to show the viability of that. So let's look and see. Virgo, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Whoop. Oh yeah, this new moon. It's a new moon in Taurus, which rules money. I already did the video, but I'm not going to publish it for a couple of days because I need to go back and do the timestamps, because otherwise you guys will go crazy. But we're talking about the Pluto retrograde, the Venus-Jupiter conjunction, and this solar eclipse, and how it'll affect and in what houses, because this is so big. And when you put your intention towards something, those of us, there's 21 people in this room. Each person affects one person, that's 42 people. And if each one of those people affect another, that's 84 people, and so on and so on. So as we give life to these new ideas, we're literally giving life to a new way of being for everyone. No, honey, you're not doomed. My moon is at 9 degrees Taurus. So I don't think that's it at all. I think it's more about, so I'm just going to quickly say this because poor Gita. The partial solar eclipses where the moon and the sun aren't quite aligned. So the sun is sort of poking out behind the moon, or the moon is only partially hiding the sun. This in Taurus gives you an opportunity to peek out at where you've been fixed. And are you so fixed that you are undermining your own results. All right, here we go. Virgo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. Let's look. Our first angel is Bridget. The second is Caressa. The third is Athena. And the final is Akasha. What does Bridget want you to look deeper into? Bridget is asking you to look deeper into the truth. Caressa is saying you're at the end of a life cycle and it's being joined by the mystery card. Athena is being joined by the spider, and Akasha is being joined by the bee. This is so interesting. Bridget asking you to look deeper into the truth. And I go back to this idea of what does Virgo want to experience in the way of their own personal power? How do you want to align with these three ships out on the sea of your own power chakra, your solar plex chakra? And how are you looking at your life and surveying the viability? Because it's time to look deeper into your truth. And Spirit is saying it's time for you to choose your truth. And I want to offer it this way, because the truth that I'm saying is there's a part of Virgo that enjoys and feels accomplished by getting things done in a practical way, and something that feels logical, and organization feels like Virgo to me. I love to be organized. I have Venus and Pluto in Virgo. And so even my messes are organized. When I put dishes in the sink, they're organized. So I feel as if this is an opportunity for Virgo to look at the choices you've made, to allow yourself to have a little bit of blurry lines, a little bit of rough edges as you connect with a different part of yourself. This power, this ocean being so yellow with these three boats on it really talks about sailing out to sea of my own empowerment. And here is Athena saying it's okay for you to lovingly assert yourself. Now let's go to the relationships card. This is relationships with friends, family, workmates, teammates, neighbors. I don't care who it is, because now it's time for Virgo to step into their truth. You can be perfect if you want to be, but are you being perfect for you or for the approval of somebody else? Because if it's about somebody else, forget about it. Forget about it. Because it's about you now, Virgo, and what you want and how you feel and how you want to perceive yourself within these relationships. Slavery in a stoic way, performing things, working for people in ways that don't make you happy or don't make you feel fulfilled or don't make you feel valued. If you feel a little bit like a cow, oh, I'm being milked, I got to do the same thing, then it's time to look a little bit deeper, because Akasha is the spiritual teacher. And now we have the bee card, the victory card, the luck card. But part of it comes with your willingness to look into the landscape of your own life. And are you aligned to the things that actually make you feel happy? I think about Virgo, and when I think about you representing work, employers and employees, slaves and slave owners, there is you have to get up when your employer tells you to. You have to be at work at this time. You've got to get up if you're a slave and do this at the crack of dawn, whatever the case may be. So now, Virgo, in this lifetime, you don't have to be a slave to anything that you don't want to be. So I know a Virgo stellium that likes to take naps every once in a while, and I applaud that. I think that's often, because when you work super hard, you should be able to rest whenever you want, lay your head down. I know over this last 6 months or so, and I have no idea why, I feel such gratitude when I get into a warm shower. I feel like I have these past life memories of having to shower in cold rivers or cold lakes and only being able to shower once in a while. And now I can get up in the morning and take a nice hot shower and feel refreshed. So I think these are the small things that Virgo gets to connect with and give themselves permission for, to look deeper into the truth of what makes you feel happy, and to allow yourself to make that choice And in doing so, I think it actually empowers your relationships because there's less of this feeling of, I need to perform for you. And that's where you become the teacher. Because now if you do decide to do something for others, or you do decide to, because we could talk about pets, we can talk about health, we can talk about, this dutiful exchange of service energy. So I really feel like this is more about a bigger concept of your deeper truth in all those genres. That's the way I want to say it. And are you living your personal truth? Because whatever that is okay. All right. Let's go on to our Cancers, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums. No, Leo. I know. Thanks, everybody. It's funny. Sometimes I watch the playback and I hear myself make mistakes, and I just make this assumption that you all know what I'm talking about. Makes me so annoyed. Okay. All right, here we go. Leo, what is our tarot card? It is the 5 of Swords. This is a little bit of a challenging energy. I'm not going to lie. This is a feeling of, there's a bit of a contempt energy with this. There's a bit of, these two characters, this main character has taken most of the swords. He's standing near them all. And the other two characters have appeared to lose something. And yet this 5 of Swords guy has got a little bit of a smug look on his face. So let's see what Spirit has to say in regards to what is this about. It's a little challenging. And I don't know if people are referring to you and thinking that Leo is smug. Sometimes they get that rap because Leo is so engaging and such a leader. Or are you thinking other people are being smug? Let's see. The 5 also represents fixed energy of air. So this would represent Aquarian air. So there could be the potential that your heart is not engaged. And that is one of the challenges of Leo, rising, moon, sun, and stelliums, is that your heart is very vulnerable. You rule the heart. So you may have some issues there. Let's see. Caressa talks about being at the end of a life cycle. New happiness awaits you. Archangel Michael is asking you to have courage. Bridget's saying to look deeper. Everybody's got to look deeper. And then there's Bethany about self-care. All right. Caressa is being joined by the Bee card. Archangel Michael's being joined by the Spider. Bridget's being joined by the Raven. And Bethany's being joined by the Death card. So Leo, we know Saturn's been opposing you. I'm not quite sure. Let me look at the degree Saturn's at right now. This may be affecting. Saturn is, where is Aquarius? Saturn is at 23 degrees Aquarius right now. So I want to offer it this way, because there is the potential that as Saturn has been going through Aquarius and opposing Leo, that there's been a feeling of repression around who and what you are, a feeling of being misunderstood, potentially even a feeling of people turning their back on you and you having to purport an air of leadership for yourself that makes you feel like you're coming off arrogant. But I want to offer this, because here is the Bee, and that's good luck and victory and a being energy. And Caressa is saying you're at the end of a life cycle. If indeed you have made some choices, or you are making choices that other people don't agree with, this is really a time of reflection to decide if their agreement is as important to you as you have previously thought it was. Because if it's diminishing you in some way, it needs to transform. Because here is my relationship card and my networking card in the spider, and Archangel Michael saying that he's asking you to have the courage to make the changes in order to truly stand in leadership for your own heart. Because Bridget is saying to look deeper into the situation. This is from the angels, and now is the raven. If magic is going to take place, it's time to stop picking the skull. The meat is off the bone. It's time to synthesize it into magic right now, and to allow yourself the privilege of self-care, that your heart, your wants, your desires, who and what you are is totally viable. And it's now time to push that forward. And I want to offer it this way, because it first comes down to what I was talking about earlier. What are your beliefs? What do you believe? What beliefs did you inherit? What beliefs did you choose? What beliefs are serving your happiness? Because I think that's where we might get into this idea of feeling as if you claim yourself, you may appear contemptuous to other people or difficult to other people. But the bigger picture, the long-term picture is that if they think you're going to be difficult now, if you keep repressing yourself, you're going to be roaring constantly later, and that's going to be much more disruptive. So I think it's an opportunity to see the victory in your own being energy, even if people don't align with your version of yourself, giving yourself permission to pursue it. And in that pursuit, knowing that they will either align to it or not. And it doesn't really matter. You matter. You matter. And that's where I think it gets a little difficult for Leo, because a lot of people perceive Leo as thinking it matters, like that they're a little bit, narcissistic. And I disagree with that completely. I think it's a mask. Oftentimes, I think oftentimes the actor in Leo needs the audience, and not in a bad way, but in a way that validates their creativity, their self-expression. Now we have to find balance between the two, meaning the Saturnian energy and who and what you are. Okay, that's Saturnian energy opposing you. All right, now we go on to our Cancers. Ready? The King of Money. Money, money, money. This is also the Taurus energy. So here we see the King of Pentacles. This is actually a beautiful energy. And I want to offer it this way, because when I look at this, there's more than just the bounty of money. There's all things Taurian. I feel rich in how I am perceiving my history, the ability for me to enjoy good food, enjoy the creature comforts of the physical experience. Let's see what Spirit has to say for Cancer. Our first angel is Mystique. The second is Archangel Michael. The third is Daniel, the angel of marriage. And finally is Indriel, the light worker. Well, let's see. The King of Pentacles is ruled by Venus. Cancer. And I got to tell you, I think some things are happening. You guys are going to put George Michael in my head for the whole day. And one of my favorites is Freedom. Freedom. All right, here we go. Cancer. Mystique is saying to charge ahead. Don't take no for an answer and expect miraculous solutions in regards to your harmonious wealth. And this would very much be what I consider the king of my possessions, of my history, of the good food I eat, the nice bed I sleep in, the good couch, my fine furnishings. Archangel Michael is being joined by the Wasp, giving you an opportunity to move past whatever stinging energies Cancer has been feeling in this opposition Pluto has been making to you. Cancer rules the very bottom of the chart: home, hearth, intuition, and it rules nurturing. And one of the challenges with Cancer is self-nurturing, because you're so busy looking at everybody else, and this can bring about a feeling of being less than or unseen. And I feel as if on some level this is an important dynamic for you to acknowledge that if you continue to go into your history over and over again and tell yourself that you're unseen and you're not valued, that you are a co-creator in that situation. So now Spirit is asking you to find the practicality in your own abundance as you continue to move forward, focusing in on harmonious wealth. This is everything you need, all the resources, all the dynamics. It's not just money. Because this focus in on where you've been hurt, angry, or feeling stung is not serving you. And Daniel echoes of history. And there's the opportunity for the balancing of the history. Here's the opportunity for alchemy as a result of your willingness to be a co-creator in your life, because the co-creator is not about being a victim to the bad things. The co-creator says, how can I change this? How can I transform this into a tool? Because each situation is not only layered within the pattern of the situation, but each person itself is layered in the way that they think and how they process. Because in the final position for my Cancers is Indriel, the light worker, and the protection card. And I don't think that this is protection because you're a light worker as much as you're having an epiphany that allows you for the process of understanding that harmonious wealth comes from a recognition of a situation, the ability to be brave in the situation. Look how I'm co-creating, and rather than judging it or feeling shame or regret about it, letting it transform you. And ultimately, that's what that Pluto opposition has been doing for Cancer. Okay, let's go on to our Geminis. Welcome, Lucy. Good to see you, Lucy Rose. All right. On to Gemini. I'm so excited. There is a notification on the community page on this my YouTube channel, and then you can always email me for information. All right, Gemini. We have the Wheel of Fortune. A lot of major arcana cards coming up today. Major arcana cards really represent a heavy energy, and not heavy in the sense of thick and dark as much as it's very influential. So let's see if the wheel is going up, down, around. Where is it going for Gemini? Drum roll, please. All right, Gemini. Our first angel is Isaiah. It's time to give birth to new ideas. You're being protected. Archangel Raphael is offering physical healing through illumination. Shanti is offering peace as a result of that illumination. And Oceana is talking about emotions and what moving towards your soul. Now, let's talk about your ruling planet. I don't even know if I've touched on that this much, but Uranus and Mercury are together in Taurus. And they're, going to hang out for a little while because Mercury's zip, zip, zip. But this could be an opportunity for you, Gemini, to take your ruling planet and liberate yourself from some of those thoughts. The liberation will never come from the eradication of those thoughts. It will be from how you process them. Is this thought serving me? Is this thought really leading me towards where I want to go? And then learning how to distract yourself. And the minute I said distract, I felt like laughter was a great distraction. Your ability to shift, pivot, to go somewhere. I can't do anything about that right now. So chewing on it mentally isn't serving me. Isaiah's giving, I couldn't be more right about that, because we're giving life to your perceptions, new opportunities to perceive in a different way that offer a reconciliation, an epiphany. And there's the forgiveness card, because if you felt obligated to do something, now it's about you, Gemini. It's about you feeling joy and moving towards joy. Somebody commented, I can't remember who it was, that they are experiencing a lot of Pluto squares right now, and it's been really hard on them. I too have that in my chart, and I was advised to do things that I love. And since I've got double Venus, I'm a Venus moon and a Venus sun, art, crafts, spending time in beauty, in making my house feel more homey and comfortable, let me offer that for Gemini, because I feel like this is so important for you to get off the hamster wheel of your obligations, to look at how your perceptions are playing a part of keeping you in an old energy. And if you just start to give life to the new, life to something new, and then almost like rather than trying to go from A to Z, just go from A to B. Okay, I know I have to do this, this, and this, but just for an hour, I'm going to let myself go sit in the garden and have a cup of tea. Or I'm going to let myself read the newspaper. Or I'm going to watch the History Channel. Something a little bit off center will help change the energy, because Oceana is asking you very much to start to transfer all that mercurial energy into the practicality of your emotional body. Within every chart, we have the mind, the spirit, and the physical and the emotional. And I think that this is about giving life to new perceptions that bring wisdom through the reconciliation of them, that offer you an opportunity to claim your own peace and to find your joy as viable. Because again, we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a very fortuitous energy. And as we do that, we go into the final energy of the High Priestess, a very intuitive energy. Oceana, again, intuitive, nurturing, moving towards my soul's destiny. The whales always represent a soul's destiny. And if we think about it, the idea of Gemini getting very caught up in every day. I got to go to Costco. I got to get to the bank. I got to get my kids' shoes. I got to make sure I do the laundry. And all of that can mask a bigger picture of what all those tasks serve. So I think part of it is to slow it down, give yourself permission to be frivolous, to do something that's completely from your fifth house of joy. And, I don't care if it's a nap, the crossword puzzle, going to a concert, playing with art. Something about this is about disengaging from the mind through something that creates peace and beauty. That's the way I want to put it. Something that gives me joy. And then that helps me get clarity on the next move I want to make. Gemini. All right. On to our Tauruses. Taurus. The sun's coming into your sign any day now. Mercury is going to hang out with Uranus. The North Node is like going, hey guys, I'm over here. What are you talking about? I can't quite hear you. But it's making me ravenous for change, ravenous for living the life I want to live. So let's see what your card is, Taurus. Your card is Transformational Death card. And this is not negative. This is actually Plutonian. And we know that Pluto is going to make some beautiful aspect to Jupiter, transforming my beliefs. And I want to offer it this way because Taurus, I'm a Taurus moon, and I know that this eclipse is going to be within 1 degree of my moon. It is going to trigger an opposition to Mercury in Scorpio, which is within 2 degrees of my par fortune. It's also going to trigger trines in my earth signs. I have 2 of them. I have chosen to deliberately look for the highest vibration of everything that the death card has to show me. I have deliberately chosen to embrace Pluto's energy rather than fight it, because I want to offer it this way. Taurus has an ability to persevere, to show fortitude, and to really rewrite their history within their human experience, to feel more secure, to feel more fulfilled and thriving within the material experience, because you've aligned the spiritual and the material together. Whoever said the meek shall inherit the earth was human, not God. God said, be as abundant as you would like. I don't necessarily reward poverty unless you've chosen it, unless it makes you happy. Taurus never likes poverty, never, in any form. All right, let's see what the angels have to say. Where is the transformation happening? First, Francesca, what do you visualize? Negativity will block your progress. Then we have Mystique. Keep charging ahead. Azure promising that your outcome will come. And Archangel Michael asking you to have the courage to step out of your fixed energy and trust a picture you can't see. It's very powerful. This week, I completely forgot it was Easter. I was busy the beginning of the week, and I'm used to being very busy with clients. And as I've started to work on the content for the channel, that's all sweat equity. That's all time I need to be away from clients. And towards the end of the week, I got like a little bit like, okay, a lot of money going out, paid my taxes this week, et cetera, et cetera. I'm a Taurus moon. So what do I visualize right now? Negativity will block my progress. Well, that is in direct relation to my being energy. I know that there is a cycle to things, that when I put my energy on one side, that it doesn't necessarily mean the other side is going to tank. I have to understand there's an ebb and a flow to everything. So here's Mystique saying, keep charging ahead. Expect miraculous solutions. You're on path. You're on track is a better way to put it. Taurus, any of the disruption that Uranus has been bringing through your life is not a negative thing. When Uranus transited my first house of Aries, I wasn't studying astrology at the time. I was off working a job, and all I knew is I was so discontent with the norm of what I had lived. And I was so willing to be shocking and to liberate myself. And in the midst of, just as Uranus was coming up on my rising sign, 26 degrees Aries, I blew out. I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot be something that's not congruent to who I am authentically. And inadvertently, I had been teeing that up, because even though I was visualizing negative things, it was pushing me into an energy that was claiming and wanting to claim the transformation I was calling forth. So now, Taurus, try to be a little bit more gentle with yourself as you're going through the process, because Azure is being joined by the restriction card. And I want to offer it this way. This is not restricting you from the outcome. It's asking you to redefine. If you go too quickly towards what it is you want, you may inadvertently find yourself like accomplishing something and then inadvertently recreating that dynamic of, okay, I made this, now I just want to feel secure here. And I think what Spirit is saying is that there's a continuous dynamic of your own evolution towards your abundance. And you don't want to get stuck in a let me put it this way. Let's say you're in a C version of your life. You want to go to an A version of your life, and you hit the B version of your life, and that feels better than the C version. So inadvertently, Taurus wants to stay in the B version, but A is on the docket. I hope that makes sense. Because Archangel Michael is asking you to go back down to that deeper truth and to have the courage to go back into your being energy, and to realize that any negativity, any challenges that you are processing are the very seeds that allow you to flourish. It's almost like, it's like going to the edge of the cliff and going, in a negative way, or in the hard way, you would jump off. This is the only way I can go forward. But in this new version of yourself, in being able to be courageous to the truth, you can go to the edge and then see that there are other options. And one of them may be to back up for more perception or more perspective. I think this is really powerful, because again, I don't want to victimize myself in my co-creation, but I do want to own it. And the things that I don't like, if I focus on, oh, I don't like that, then I get caught up in some weird judgment where I'm right and they're wrong. And everywhere there's a little bit of right and wrong. Everywhere there's a little good and bad. Everywhere there's a little light and dark. So there's something here about Taurus opening up and then allowing themselves to be liberated from an old story, their history that has up until now given them a certain level of comfort, but not enough. And now it's time to pop off the top. something bigger. Okay. On to our last sign. Aries, rising moon, sun, and stelliums. Our tarot card is Judgment, which is Pluto. Absolute Pluto. Now let's look at this, because these characters are rising from the coffins. They are rising. They are the phoenix rising from the ashes. And here's Archangel Gabriel blowing his horn, or her horn, however you want to look at it. And I look at it very much as somehow the judgment isn't judgment, but it's some sort of revelation, some sort of epiphany that I've had about how I'm thinking and how that story has continued to, because when I look at these characters and all their heads are illuminating in the color of my power chakra, there's something about suddenly connecting with the idea. It's a 20. The 20 reduces down to a 2. We're in the 2022 year. There is a real opportunity for the square between Pluto and whatever planets are happening in your first house, Aries. If you're rising, obviously that's your first house, but your moon, your sun, if there's stellium in Aries, there's a real opportunity for you to look at where you've been holding yourself small, where on some level you have been contributing to your own anger and frustration. And instead of seeing that as tethering you to an old story, it's giving you the fire to push past and rocket into the universe of a new life. Because that's what I've been thinking about, is that as I've been doing my work, and as I've been 8 years working for myself, and it's been mostly focused on one-on-one client type things. And now as I go into a bigger arena of creating webinars, there is a certain amount of trepidation I may have, a certain amount of concern that Pluto's energy is going to be a little scary. But if I'm brave to the deeper truth, this is where I've always wanted to go, and has always been closest to my heart. So where is judgment going to transform your life? And not because you're judging yourself, but because you're allowing for the idea of this transformation. Isaiah, giving birth to new ideas. Opal, knowing God and the angels are caring for you. Chantal, what do you love, Aries? And there we have Archangel Michael asking for courage. I kind of suddenly thought that was the courage to look at myself without judgment. That's so awesome, Stephen. Congratulations. I'm glad that job is resonating with you. It's been a long time coming. Isaiah is being joined by the novice. It's time for new beginnings. Opal's being joined by the focus card. Chantal is being joined by the letting go card. And Archangel Michael is being joined by the stag. Okay, I want to offer this, because with this judgment card coming up, there is a transformation that is absolutely on the books. We look at Pluto, we look at Aries, they naturally square each other. This creates friction. I think of it kind of like sandpaper. It hurts when it first starts whittling down the sharp edges, and yet it has the ability to transform something into smooth, creative lines. I think of woodworkers and carpenters and master builders on some level, because Isaiah is saying it's time to give birth to new ideas, and yet this is an unstable new beginning. And I think that it comes from, how are you judging not only yourself, but others? Because now, on some level, I think that we're being asked to see the child in everyone. Everyone has a story. Everyone has a hurt. Everyone has a dream. Everyone wants to be loved. And sometimes Aries, when you're the hero, Aries rules firefighters. It rules pioneers and people with courage. I would imagine it rules the Knights Templars and people who would guard and protect those on pilgrimages to sacred lands. So my idea is this. Spirit is asking Aries in this moment to have an innocence, a softness about a new beginning. That softness is really on some level to understand that love trumps fear, and that love trumping fear is best served when we're focused on our relationship with God and the angels, because now is the time to have the courage to be the leader you're meant to be. And this is where Aries being able to, this is where I want to say Aries having this, you have, well, let's just, the Mercury Uranus conjunction right now. While it is in Taurus, it is an opportunity for you to see how you communicate and if what you're saying is effective or just blurting and venting. One of the things I've learned as my rising sign literally opposes my Mars is that in this lifetime, I believe my words have power, and it's my job to use them with harmony and diplomacy versus unconsciously. Aries sometimes can just charge through a situation, and because it's so important to get to the end result, it burns what's as the energies that it's come across. So this is really more about taking that and fine-tuning that energy, taking that hero energy and that bravery, and then being able to look at oneself and transform how you're showing up so that you can invite others to step up. So that's what I'm going to say. All right, guys, that's it for this week. I think I managed to keep it down to an hour and a half. Thank you, God and the angels, for helping me be expeditious with my words. I don't want you guys to have to drag on. I want to thank Small Wildflowers and Juan for being my pillars of strength, my part of my Three Musketeers. And I want to thank each one of you for joining me here on Easter Sunday. May we all rise to the highest vibration of what we've planned for this lifetime. And I will see you next Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Have a great Easter, everybody. Peace.